I'm Mel,
And I'm Andrea.
and we've been asking ourselves, WTF? Where's the fun?
So, welcome to our podcast for heart-led business leaders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More impact, more wealth, more joy, and more magic, all while having even more fun than ever before.
As co-founders of FunX, we believe that life and business is way more fulfilling when you're following the fun.
So we're flipping the script on success, giving you permission to create from a whole new paradigm where you can have a lasting impact while nurturing your well-being and having a freaking blast along the way.
So join us each week for engaging solo episodes
and real conversations with experts who are embodying this new paradigm of leadership, spiritual wealth, business growth, and of course, fun.
If you're ready to reignite your spark, make bold moves, and lead from a whole new energy,
Let's jump in and have some fun.
Welcome back to WTF. Where's the fun? I'm Mel.
And I'm Andrea.
And I have 2 words for you this week. Vegas, baby.
Yes. So we're coming off our whirlwind, once in a lifetime, I would say, opportunity trip. It was just honestly an incredible experience. And we wanted to share the lessons, the takeaways, and the insights from this experience.
And to be honest, this whole trip, this whole experience, it almost never even happened. And let's dive into that, like how it almost didn't happen.
Looking back now, it's like we would have been silly not to have done this. And I think this goes to show like there's usually the dream, the intention, the thing that we want, and then in between that is typically fear. And that was actually why we almost didn't say yes. And this is something that we've actually been manifesting for
Years.
literally years. So we're friends with Carrie. So Carrie is just an amazing human being, and she is Shania Twain's sister. So years ago when we met Carrie, and Carrie was sharing about her experience, and it's always so cool to, I think, just get to understand and know,
Yeah.
I think, the behind the scenes of it.
Yeah.
And she shared with us, so Carrie used to sing on stage with her sister. Like she's really good.
She's amazing.
And she had this experience where she got to bring her friends up, and she got to bring them on stage and giving them an experience. So that's Carrie's whole thing, is she loves giving experiences. So when we heard this years ago, that kind of stuck in our head, and we're like,
Well, they were on stage and they like Carrie talked them up all week to her sister, like they're gonna crush it when you bring them up. So the moment comes, they all come up, and it was the Vegas residency where she had a bonfire, like a fake bonfire on the stage, and it was like a campfire sing along, and they were all to go up and they were all to sing a song with her. Well, Carrie's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they all get up there and they completely froze. And Carrie has told us this story over and over again.
so we're like, if we ever get the chance to go to Vegas, not only are we gonna like seize the opportunity, like we're gonna go for it. So that had like always been in the back of our head. We're like, if we ever get the chance to go to Vegas. And then I would say this year she started a new residency. So Shania started a residency. It was at Planet Hollywood, and it was basically going from, I think, May till February.
Yeah.
And Mel and I are like, wouldn't it be wild if we went with Carrie and Mary? So Mary is also a dear friend of ours. She was Shania Twain's first manager. So we're like, wouldn't it be wild if we got to go to Vegas with Carrie and Mary and get to see one of her shows? So we've been like talking this into existence for at least since
Year.
yeah, at least since May. And then we started adding on to it, being like, well, wouldn't it be wild if not only did we go to Vegas, imagine I got a speaking opportunity there. So then we started talking about how we're going to go to Vegas. I'm going to get a speaking opportunity. We're going to see Shania. And we just started like just playing in this dream world. Wouldn't that be fun? Then I would say in probably late fall, Carrie started to share that she was planning a trip to go to Vegas with Mary to see her sister's final show. And
We were like, that's nice.
we didn't really, honestly, we didn't even think anything of it. And then she she mentioned it again. And she was like, I'm going. It's like almost like this hint being like, this is your opportunity. If you wanna come and join, like,
Just say it.
this would be a cool opportunity." And even then, we were like, "Nah." And then it was just before Christmas, and we were actually in the middle of a really big, we were doing our mini fun experience. So we were in the middle of, like, maneuvering, like, cancellations
Yeah.
and, like, just basically,
We were in the thick of it.
yes, and Carrie just randomly stopped by, and she was sharing about her trip to Vegas, and something shifted in that conversation
Yeah.
where
He said, "You girls really should think about coming."
and I think
And we were like, "No."
what it yeah, so this just goes to show we put the intention out to the universe, and I think there's many examples of how this happens for all of us, but we put it out there. But then the universe gives us, "Here you go, but now you have to say yes to it."
Yes.
And we could have, and we did for, like, many different reasons, come up with so many excuses for why it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense in our calendar. It
Yeah.
didn't make sense with based on our intentions for that time of year. Like, there's so many, I'm gonna call them excuses,
Yes.
for why we couldn't prioritize this. And one of Mel's kind of driving principles that we really, I think, live by, is when we take our last breath, we wanna know that we went for it, that we lived well, that we loved well, that we truly savored life.
Mhm.
And Carrie really put it in perspective for us, and not only did she give us the nudge, she was like, "You only live once." And Carrie knows that well because when she was young, both of her parents died in a car accident. So Carrie is the person who lives life in the moment. She gives experiences, she seizes opportunities, and
Mhm.
it's because she knows that life is short.
Yeah.
So we're like, it really, Carrie left, Mel went to go figure out tech for the money or the mini fun experience. And I remember I took it to heart and I was like, what the F are we doing? Why are we not saying yes? This is what we wanted. This was a heart-centered desire. We have no good reason not to go other than these bullshit excuses that we were coming up with.
Mhm.
And we're like, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, no, what happened was is I was in the midst of putting out a tech fire situation for the mini fun experience, and Andy called me and was like, "I know you don't care right now, but I just booked Vegas." And I was like, "You're right, I don't care right now, but I'm sure when the time comes, I'll love it."
Yeah. And to be fair, like what was the biggest driving force here? And it sounds silly talking about it now because it's like, doesn't make sense. You wanted this and then you were asked to come and all you had to do was say yes.
Yeah.
It's like that seems very straightforward and very simple. But in real time, in reality, there's always things that
Yeah.
come up where it's like, well, it doesn't really make sense for my timeline, or we have other financial investments that we want to put that money towards.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Vegas.
No.
We both aren't gamblers. It's just not our scene. So it's like the the fears or the excuses and the logical head side stacks up, but you need something bigger than that.
And the truth for me, the reason why I was like, "Yeah, let's do it," is 1, it might be her last residency. This might never happen again. 2, we've asked the universe to give this to us, and we have always said we wanted to go with Mary and Carrie. And 3, Mary is not a spring chicken anymore. She
Yeah.
acts like it, but she is pushing 80 right now, and for me, I really wanted to make the memory with Mary.
Yeah. And you know what just came through as you're saying that? I think unconsciously, I don't think this was even a conscious thought, but I think unconsciously there was almost like this feeling of why would we go and have fun when we're actually in the middle of building something?
Yeah.
It's almost like that unconscious old pattern where it's like you have to hit your goals first and then you can have fun. It's
Yes.
like, why would you, in the middle of building something, step away to have fun? It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
It's like, it does make sense. And that is where we want to share like the actual experience because we challenged ourselves, we got out of our comfort zone, we committed to this trip, and honestly, it just kept getting better and better.
And the thing is, once we made the decision, then we could move forward. And so we made the decision, yes, we're going. It's just it was already booked. I had no choice in it. And that's when we started asking what would make this more fun.
Today's episode of WTF, Where's the Fun, is sponsored by The Fun Experience, a curated mastermind for established business owners, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More magic, more joy, more wealth, and more fun than ever before. So if you're ready for a peer-to-peer mastermind that's helping you to embody more leadership, more impact, and make bold moves, The Fun Experience is where it's at.
And so Andy had recently signed with Loud Management, and we said, okay, wouldn't this be more fun if Loud met us there? So originally we wanted you to get a speaking in Vegas, but what we did, we tacked on work onto this trip that was really like fun for us. So we invited the speaking agents out. They got us a meeting with some other people while we were down there. So it was kind of like killing two birds with one stone, but it was a lot more fun with us. We deepened our relationship with Amy and Matt, the speaking agents.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was like really like what would make this trip more fun for us. And that then just got the energy going. And then we started to get really excited for Vegas.
Yeah. And I think what was really cool is it actually helped us shift from some of the I think even the ways that we were feeling in the day to day in business. Like
Yeah.
if we had not gone,
It wasn't a long winter.
yeah, if we had not gone, it's like, and we did, we came through a challenging January. Like we said goodbye to our dog. We
Yeah.
had to transition a bunch of things. Like it was just a really like heavy, intense time.
Yeah.
And I think that was another reason why we're like, well, this doesn't make sense. It's like, but that's the actual thing that we needed
Yeah.
was to prioritize our fun and our joy. And then as we did that, really shifted was our frequency and our vibration because we were in this frequency of almost like, yeah, like the heaviness, the almost like the grind,
Yeah.
so to speak. And what it did is it allowed us to step away, to shift our energy, to shift our frequency to things that were enjoyable for us. Like we love adventure. And like the actual story of Vegas itself was like I feel like we couldn't have had a better experience
No.
if we had written it up
Yeah.
because we arrived, we got to like settle in and explore and we said yes and then we ended up creating this like, I don't know, momentum where a couple of the ladies on the lake, they're like, I want to come too. So now it started to become this whole group thing. And they just brought the fun energy because they were just so happy to be there as well. And like even the experience on so we went to two shows. The first show, it was, like, honestly a dream come true because we got to it was fun. Fred, so Shania's husband, he met us and he's like, "Us to merch." He took us to merch. He's like, "Pick out your T-shirts, pick whatever you want," basically. So we all had these first night, we were all in leopard. The next night, we all wore our Shania T-shirts. And then we had our seats, and it was such a great group of women,
Yeah.
and Matt. Yeah, and just being so grateful led to even more cool things. Like
Mhm.
Erica got an opportunity where she's a super fan and she actually got to go and she got to do like a meet and greet before, which Carrie brought her joy giving the
Yeah.
experience. And then we get back to our seats and like mid show, we're all having fun and Carrie's like, come with us. So we're like, okay. So the four of us, Mel, myself, Erica, and Ange, we're walking backstage and we're like,
And Andy and I looked at each other and we were like, we are not going to screw this up for Carrie.
it's like, this is go time. We've been manifesting this for like 2, 3 years. But like, if we get an opportunity to get on that stage, we are going for it. We even got there's like just random strangers that were coming up as well. We're like,
Also, what Shania does is she pulls people up to do a song on stage. So we were doing "Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under," and it's such a fun, upbeat
it was
song.
fun.
So like we're walking backstage, and it's the four of us, and then there's probably like four other people with us that we've never met, and we're like, "You can't screw this up for Gary."
We're like, we're gonna bring it.
And they're like, "We don't know who Carrie is, but we're with you." And so then they bring us out onto the stage, and you get a picture, with Shania, and then you're supposed to all sit down, and there's, like, little tables there, there's, like, fake beer. So, like, I'm drinking this fake beer, I'm, like, playing up the whole song, you and Erica are having a great time, there's, like, dancers all around us, and I just remember being like there was a dancer that came by me, and I was, like, kinda just, like, joking around with him playing, and then he grabbed my hand to get up, and I was like, "Oh, this is my moment." And I was like, "I am not screwing this up. I'm gonna hit this." And I just danced with the guy, and it was so much fun, and I just remember Carrie just howling at me.
And then Amy and Matt are like our
Stage
moms. They're like, "Go." So it was like, honestly,
the dream.
it was so much fun, like more fun than we could have imagined. And then,
Like, if the night had ended there, it would've been
yeah,
fantastic. Like, it would've been a dream. But then the night just kept going on. And so after the show, we go back to our seats, we finish the show. Shania does an amazing job, and then after the show, everyone clears out, and Carrie's like, "Everybody stay here," and we're like, "Okay." And then ends up Carrie takes us backstage. Eileen wanted to all of us to come on the stage afterwards. The building's empty, which it was so super cool to see that.
yeah.
So we're all on the stage, we're all taking pictures, and then she brings out, like, the saloon bar that was in the song that we were on stage for, but it was actually stocked with tons of booze. So we're all on stage. It was very small, very intimate.
It was pretty much just us, the dancers, and then
Eileen, Fred, and Asia.
yeah.
And it was like one of those nights where you're like, "Is this really happening?" And we had so much fun. Like, we were drinking, we were laughing, we were taking pictures on stage,
It
like,
was just like genuinely fun.
wholesome.
Yeah, like we created deeper connection.
Yeah,
It was just joy. Like
yeah,
I think I can't describe it other than it was joy.
yeah.
And it was because we said yes. And it was and I think that's part of it. It's like there's a lot of heaviness. There's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to living on earth. But then there's also these moments
Yeah.
and these experiences and these people that it's like, wow, it's like I didn't even know it could be this good. And also, they can also happen simultaneously. I think
Mhm.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I also think part of it is our brain and our perception often can't even imagine how great it could be.
Yeah.
And we didn't say yes being like, "I wanna be on stage and I want" like, that wasn't it. We actually went with the intention, we're like, "I don't know how, but this is gonna be" 'cause we've been to a few of her shows before
Yeah.
with Carrie, it's fun. But we're like, "I don't even know how this is gonna be even more fun than all the other shows," but we just put the intention out there that this was gonna be something that afterwards we talk about it and be like, "That was even more incredible than I could have imagined." And that night on stage, when we're laughing and joking and just playing, it was like that was one of those moments that I was like, "This is even more magical than I could have imagined."
And that was night 1.
You know, it's that one. And then we did the whole thing the night over again. And that's how I think I wanna live my life
Yeah.
in the sense that in the bigger picture, there's gonna be times when it's like and we're working on my talk right now, and part of it's like, "What the fuck?" It's like the WTF side of it. But then there's other parts where it's like, "Holy shit, this is even better than I could have imagined," and that's what makes it worthwhile.
Mhm.
So, the reason we share all this is just to give you maybe just a our we needed a reminder for ourselves of sometimes it doesn't make sense either with your timeline, with your calendar,
Yeah.
with even the things that you have going on with life, or
Like,
even
family obligations.
like even financial obligations, like
Yeah.
whatever the thing might be. From our head, it might not make sense. But then if there's this pull and we were being pulled, it was a heart-centered, like joyful, I'm a yes to this, where we need to prioritize our joy, step
Yeah.
back, change our environment.
We really had to walk our walk there.
Really did, yeah. And then when you do that, things will happen for you that otherwise wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So what is one thing that might not make sense to you logically,
Yeah.
but intuitively or bigger picture, heart-centered vision-wise, what would be something that you would love to prioritize? And again, don't feel like this has to be, "Oh, I wanna do this tomorrow." Like, we've been holding this vision for
A
a couple
year.
years,
Yeah.
and then we really held it for a year. So what is it that would be fun for you that you could prioritize for yourself? And then step 2 is to then say yes to it, even if that doesn't make sense, and just to allow yourself to have fun, to enjoy the moment, and to be open to magic.
Yeah. So I think basically to wrap this up in a bow is like set your intention for the things you want in the universe and don't be surprised when the universe hands it to you. And then that is your opportunity to step into that. And what comes of it will be pure magic if you have the courage to actually say yes and step into it. So for us, it was with this whole thing, it was like to take a step away from the day to day. That's what we were being pulled to do, really, is saying yes to taking a mini vacation. So I think that's really what it comes down to is what can you say yes to?
I love it. And tag us. Let us know.
Yeah.
What are you saying yes to?
Yes. Great. Thanks for listening to WTF. Where's the fun?
We're Andrea and Mel, and we're so excited to be on this journey with you to see how fun it can get.
If today's episode brought a little bit more fun into your world, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review.
And remember, life and business is so much better when you're following the fun. So let's have some fun.